This is the Shinkansen. To be more specific, is the Tōkaidō Shinkansen, the oldest high-speed rail line in the world, linking three of Japan's largest cities, namely Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka. How did all of this come together? And how has it affected the way of life for the Japanese? That's what we're here to find out.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
And good day guys, welcome back to my video. This chaos you see behind me is Shin-Ōsaka station, and this is where the Shinkansen train departs from. And that's right, I'm getting on the Shinkansen bullet train today to take me from here in Osaka to Tokyo station. So come along with me to see what this experience on the Shinkansen bullet train is gonna be like. Let's do this.
Everybody just do your thing.
If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan. Born and bred in Singapore, I now live in Australia, and I create heaps of travel and food-related content. This travel series sees me set foot in 8 cities in 4 countries over the course of 2 weeks. My first international port of entry is in Sapporo, Japan, where I feast my way through this extremely chilly capital city of Hokkaido. The wonderful first-class hospitality of Japan Airlines leaves me impressively speechless as they take me to Osaka, where the amazing culinary journey continued. My visit in Japan concluded in Tokyo. So much to see, so much to eat. Japan Airlines then takes me to China, where I experience some of the most frustrating airport transfers I've ever done in Shanghai Pudong, before my old friend China Airlines takes me to Taiwan. Kaohsiung feeds me very well as I explore this southern port city. I say hello to Kinmen for a short stay before ending up in Taipei, where the colorful and vibrant foodie scene is second to none. I fly back to Australia, taking a scenic route through Bangkok in Thailand before wrapping it up. There's lots to unpack in this series, filled with flight reviews, train journeys, and destination vlogs. And these videos will be linked in the description in chronological order when they're published. If you'd like to make a direct impact into the growth of my channel, give me a like and share this video with a friend. Even better, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you won't miss the next exciting episode of this series. So here's the thanks, because your support is very much appreciated. Shin-Ōsaka Station is a gigantic major interchange which caters to 2 Shinkansen lines and several other city suburban commuter lines as well. This station was constructed in 1964 to replace the original Osaka station because it was just too hard to incorporate the Shinkansen electric rail technology into that station. And hence, this is why this is named Shin-Ōsaka. Shin in Japanese means new. This is to avoid confusion with Osaka Station, which still exists today in Umeda in central Osaka. As you saw from the opening intro, Shin-Ōsaka Station is a foodie destination in its own right. Perhaps on my next trip here, I'll film an entire episode here showcasing the amazing food options available. Speaking of which, the start of any Shinkansen journey, stopping to buy a bento box is kind of the thing to do. Japanese convenient marts are on another level, because the meals you can buy here are just truly mind-boggling. However, I wanted a true blue bento box, and voila! Not like my decision process was made any easier. The idea of an express train linking 3 of Japan's largest cities began around the 1930s. And this was when the term Dangan Leisha or bullet train was coined. This gives you an insight into what an advanced and developed country Japan was given the context of that era. The foundations of the Tokaido line were soon laid, and from a larger perspective, the Tokaido Shinkansen covers this region between Shin-Ōsaka and Tokyo stations. And this is the line we'll be on today. By the 1940s, there were plans to build steam and electric locomotives hauling carriages traveling at speeds of 200 kilometers an hour. This was unheard of at that time. A more ambitious plan included a tunnel to the Korean peninsula and the high-speed rail line continuing to Beijing in China and even to Singapore. Connection plans were also drawn to link these lines to the Trans-Siberian Railway, bringing these bullet trains as far afield as Europe. Of course, these plans never came to life, as Japan's position at the end of World War II plummeted the country into a deep economic recession. This afternoon, I was riding on the Nozomi service, which is the priciest Shinkansen fare between Osaka and Tokyo because of its limited stops. On top of that, I decided to style it up, getting a seat in the green car, which is similar to a business class. It's configured in a spacious 2x2 as compared to the standard class, which is a 3x2. At the end of the video, I'll share with you the fare I paid for this journey. The seats here are thankfully not the slimline space saver you see on a lot of other modern trains. This one is extremely cushy as you sink into them. And the recline is very generous as well. Charging ports are found in the front of the central armrest, and these are the controls for lights and a seat warmer for those frosty Japanese winters. These footrests are great to complete the ultra-comfortable environment, making any journey on board the Shinkansen a very pleasant affair. At 1:15 p.m., we pulled out of Shin-Ōsaka station bound for Tokyo station. This journey would take roughly 2 hours 25 minutes, covering a distance of just over 515 kilometers. On this Nozomi limited stop service, we'll be calling at the stations of Kyoto, Nagoya, Yokohama, and Shinagawa before our arrival into Tokyo. While the train ride has been very smooth so far, something began rumbling. Turns out it was my tummy, so the bento box I bought earlier on needed to come out of hiding. This is unagi, which is a freshwater eel. It has been grilled to this charred perfection with all that shiny caramelization. With a couple of tamago egg omelette and rice, this meal is definitely a perfect way to enjoy lunch. Together with a drink, this had cost me 1,793 Japanese yen, about 18 Aussie. By the way, unagi is really one of my favorite seafood items. I've also had the opportunity of trying iguana and snake, which has a very similar texture. By the end of World War II, Japan had all but forgotten about high-speed rail because the country was in ruins. Meanwhile, the already constructed Tokaido rail line was steadily hauling passengers and freight, and its capacity was increasing year on year as the reconstruction of Japan's economy gathered pace. By the 1950s, Japan's national attitude towards railways was that it would soon be outdated and replaced by air travel. But the president of Japan's National Railway decided to revisit the high-speed rail vision and strongly insisted there was some form of viability. And thus, the Shinkansen project was implemented in December 1958. Our first stop today is in Kyoto, which is the capital city of the Kyoto Prefecture. It was the capital of Japan between 795 and 1868. These days, Kyoto is considered to be the cultural center of Japan, and a lot of its heritage buildings were thankfully spared from the large-scale destruction during World War II. As a result, much of Kyoto's pre-war cultural heritage has been preserved. These include numerous Buddhist temples, Shinto shrines, palaces, and gardens. A lot of them have been designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Construction for the high-speed rail commenced in April 1959. Since it was running on a different technology and train speed, a completely new rail line was built next to the existing Tōkaidō rail line. As this technology was considered to be experimental and unfamiliar, government loans were kept to a minimum and the rest of the funds was sought from the World Bank. As with any major infrastructure construction like this one, severe cost overruns were rife. The opening of the Tokaido Shinkansen was set to coincide with the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. This brought much pride to the country, and the international attention was just what Japan needed to signal it has successfully navigated itself out of the economic ruins of World War II. And it was now riding high, showcasing to the world the first ever high-speed rail anyone had ever seen, linking major city centers in a couple of hours. The world's first high-speed rail line, Tokaido Shinkansen, was now officially in business. The Shinkansen service was launched with the 0K train, which had a distinctive blue stripe, and the rolling stock resembled a bullet. It had a maximum speed of 220 km per hour running on standard gauge rail lines. They were in service for 44 years before getting retired in 2008. These days, the Tokaido Shinkansen utilizes the N700 series trains for this Nozomi service for a speedy journey. It has a maximum operational speed of 300 km per hour, although on this service, the maximum speed recorded was hovering about the 280 mark. Tokaido Shinkansen links together some of Japan's most populated urban centers, and we're now pulling into Nagoya Station. It's the fourth most populous city in Japan and part of the Tokyo metropolitan area, which has a combined population of around 10.1 million people. Just like Osaka's Kansai International Airport, Nagoya's main international airport is built on an artificial island, which I flew past yesterday on a flight between Tokyo Haneda Airport and Osaka's Itami Airport. There's no hiding the fact that building the Tokaido Shinkansen was an incredibly expensive affair. 2 more new Shinkansen lines were eventually built under Japan National Railways before the organization became insolvent as the 1980s came about. Eventually, Japan National Railways was privatized into what we know today as Japan Rail Group, or JR. The JR Group is further broken up into their geographical locations, which translates into respective areas of responsibility and business development. There's a reason why I chose to sit on the left during this train journey. We're now passing the city of Shizuoka, and it won't be long before the iconic view of Mount Fuji should theoretically come into view. After all, the sky had kind of held up to its part of the bargain until this point, right? Sadly, it wasn't the case. After we passed Shizuoka, and as we rounded the town of Fuji, it got so cloudy in the distance, our dearest Fuji-san became elusive once again. Oh well, at least I got to catch a sight of that icon yesterday as I flew out of Tokyo. Speaking of which, yesterday, the 6th of November 2024, was the first day of snowfall for Mount Fuji. And this was the longest duration ever recorded of that volcano being snow-free. We do live in very worrying climate trends, that's for sure. As my luck would have it, the sky would be clear after we left Fuji, as you can see here as we pull into Yokohama. From here on, there will be no break in urbanization because Yokohama forms part of the greater Tokyo area. By the time we make it to our next stop in Shinagawa, We are getting very close to Tokyo Station as we journey towards the conclusion of this Shinkansen trip. So this is a great time for me to summarize my first experience on the Tōkaidō Shinkansen from Shin-Ōsaka Station to Tokyo Station. This one-way fare in the green car from Shin-Ōsaka Station to Tokyo Station cost me 19,500 Japanese yen, just slightly under 200 Aussie. FYI, economy airfares for a 45-minute flight ranges from 50 Australian dollars with Jetstar to about 160 Australian dollars with Japan Airlines. This trip was done in November 2024, which is Shinkansen's 60th anniversary. The Shinkansen network has since been extended like a spider web to cover the entire length of Honshu, Kyushu, and the southern parts of Hokkaido. It has done so for 6 decades with a perfect safety record despite operating in challenging terrain and facing natural disasters like earthquakes and typhoons. The bullet train is now so ingrained into the Japanese culture, millions of overseas visitors ride it as well, in search of that quintessential Japanese experience, like what I'm doing now. This speaks volumes of the pioneering spirit of the Japanese psyche, which translates into everyday life of giving it their all, doing it once, doing it right. Since this high-speed rail was introduced, others have followed suit in Europe and numerous parts of Asia, and some even do it better, smoother, and faster. But we're not here to compare dick sizes today. I'm here to acknowledge the grandfather of all high-speed rails, the Tōkaidō Shinkansen, as the world's oldest high-speed rail line. And with that, it's time for us to wrap up this video and join live Ryan as he arrives into Tokyo Station. That was the Shinkansen, and I'm trying to get out of the station, but I don't know how. Let me see if I can ask the station manager. I guess not. I'll just walk out. Well, anyway, yeah. And guys, that was the Shinkansen from Osaka to Tokyo. What an amazing experience that was though. Anyway, I'm here in Tokyo now. I'll be here for 2 days. So look out for that video of my stay in Tokyo. Well, anyway, I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now. So hit me up there and chuck me a follow, so you can come along with me on my travels in real time. Of course, more importantly, do not forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification icon. And I will see you for the next installment of this exciting travel series. See you guys around. Bye!